So let's just settle into our meditation posture. And just remembering that however it is you're showing up this evening is totally fine. And try and get in touch with that stillness that we have inside of us. That we can, the more we practice these kinds of meditations, the more we'll get proficient at accessing that stillness a little faster. So check your sitting posture. If you are sitting at a desk and the feet are down on the ground, maybe have them about hips width apart. Other than that, if you're sitting on a cushion, maybe have your hips slightly raised, your sits bones raised maybe 2 to 4 inches, whatever's comfortable. And if your knees and hips are tight, you can put a couple of cushions underneath each knee just to support you. Shoulders are aligned with the hips. Hands in the meditation mudra, right hand nestled in the left with the thumbs touching. And just imagine your spine is a string of pearls of light stretching from the base all the way up through the crown of the head and beyond. So you can just imagine maybe there's a puppeteer above the crown of your head, very gently lengthening your spine. So you're stretching out those muscles all along the back. The head is very slightly tipped forward, the eyes are down looking along the length of the nose to a spot about 2 inches ahead. If they were open, tip of the tongue is on the roof of the mouth, and relax the jaw. Just bring our awareness to the crown of the head and relax the scalp, the forehead, the eyes, back of the eyes, particularly if you wear corrective lenses, the nose, the cheeks, the mouth, the jaw again. And bring your awareness to the back of the head and relax the scalp, the base of the skull, the ears, the inner ear, the temples, the jaw, back of the tongue. Release any tension in the back of the neck and allow the shoulders and the shoulder blades just to drop down. Relax the throat and the chest and the belly, limbs, hands, fingers, feet and toes, and then bring the mind to the breath and just notice the sensation of the air as you're inhaling. It's a little bit cooler than when you're exhaling. You may have some sounds in your environment. Here it's very quiet apart from our crickets. But perhaps there's someone in your home, outside on the street. Maybe you can hear traffic. And whatever sounds you're hearing, just allow them to be there as they sort of fade away into the background, and refocus your attention on the breath. And then notice what's arising in the mind. And it doesn't matter whatever's there, maybe there's some depression, maybe there's some anxiety, maybe you're happy, maybe you're excited, maybe something wonderful happened today, or maybe something difficult happened at work. Maybe something unbelievable happened. But whatever it is, just put some space in between those thoughts. Whatever it is you're thinking right now. And just allow the thoughts to arise. and to abide and to fall. And try not to judge whatever it is you're thinking, what you're feeling. Just observe it with curiosity and interest. And just remember, we're sitting on the bank of our river, an objective observer, watching it flow on by without getting caught up or drowning or swept away. And as long as we're sitting on the bank, we're free from the river. So let's bring the mind to the breath and just bring to our attention all the people of our life. Our loved ones, the ones, our spouses and children and family, friends, co-workers. And then there's those people who we find a little bit difficult. And then there's those ones who are kind of, they're strangers to us, really. We don't know them, we pass them in the street every now and then. Maybe we pass them every day, but we still don't know them. And it's always curious to me that this friend, this enemy and stranger can change place at any time. So maybe bring a situation to your own mind where that has happened. Maybe a stranger, somebody you didn't know a couple of years ago now, is very much part of your life. I just think we'll do this meditation for all these beings who are equal to us in that they want to be happy and they don't want to suffer, and they all have this incredible capacity for this enlightened mind, just like you. So I think, remembering there is no negativity that we cannot purify. Whatever it is you've done. Sometimes I think we get completely wrapped up in our own badness, and it's really not helpful. So, first of all, we regret. So regret's kind of like a responsible attitude, acknowledging, okay, I did that thing, and the implication is that you are actually going to try and do something about it. So it's in a way, it's like a positive thought. An acknowledgement to yourself. It's sort of like an adult thing. We're not blaming anybody. We're not asking anyone for forgiveness. We regret. And think that the reason we regret is based on this logic of karma. Everything we experience, the houses we live in, the food we eat, the air we breathe, is based on our past actions, our past karma. So whatever it is ripening for you right now is based on your past actions, whether this life or another. So if we harm people, we are going to experience suffering. So given that we perhaps don't want to disrupt our nice, comfortable lives right now, think like this: I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and my speech, broken my vows, because I do not want the future suffering. I'm sick of suffering, and also regret the anger, attachment and the rest that are the cause of why we harm others, and think again, I'm sick of suffering. Then think, what can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? So here we come to the power of reliance. We turn to the Buddha, the doctor, who has the methods that we can use to purify. And it's not that we're needing Buddha to forgive us. We're purifying ourselves by relying upon his medicine, his methods. So you can imagine Vajrasattva above the crown of your head. And he's made of radiant, blissful white light. And you can also think of this as your teacher or your spiritual mentor, your guide, manifesting in this form for your benefit. And the reason we do this is just to make it a little bit more personal for us. So he's sitting cross-legged on a white lotus and a moon cushion. And this lotus, although born out of mud, is untainted by that mud, just like our enlightened potential, which is born out of our delusions, but yet untainted by them. He has this beautiful, radiant face. His eyes are long. They're shaped like lotus petals, and they're very peaceful and full of love and compassion for you and all those people of your life. And he has a sweet red mouth. His hair is black and held up in a top knot. He's wearing the 5-pointed crown on his head, embedded with jewels. He's wearing jewelry on his ears, around his throat, around his waist and arms and legs and feet. And he's wearing these celestial silken robes, sort of like scarves and harem pants, just sort of floating in the wind. Again, all of this is made of light. And he has this aura of light around his head and around his body. His arms are crossed at his heart, the left underneath the right. The left is holding a bell representing wisdom. The right is holding a vajra, which represents the indestructibility of compassion. And their being crossed represents the union of these two, which symbolizes enlightenment itself, the development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. So in order to develop compassion, we need to rely upon other beings. So bring to mind some beings you may have harmed and those who have harmed us by developing compassion for them, a sense, sort of like a wish for them to be free from suffering. And think particularly of people that you've harmed recently, and then maybe in the past, just generally. Maybe you don't even remember. And then remember those who have harmed you. And because of the harm they've caused you, the suffering they've caused you, they are going to suffer in the future. So you can have compassion for them because of that. So make a strong aspiration to do this practice of purification for the sake of all these sentient beings, and think I must purify for their sake. So now we come to the power of the remedy. And this is the actual medicine, this purification, visualization, and mantra recitation. So we start with the body. And Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar, almost like coming out of a hose, very forcefully from his heart. And it arcs around and enters your crown and pours into your entire body, filling you completely. And it keeps pouring into you until it forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you have ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid. And this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left, as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Sipokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasiti Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Sipokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasiti Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Sipokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasiti Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Sipokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasiti Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Sipokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasiti Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Sipokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasiti Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Sipokaya Mebawa Anarakta meboa sawa siddhi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe. So be delighted that all the harm you have ever done to any sentient being with your body is now completely purified, and think there's no way you could do anything but benefit others now with your body. So the next is the purification of speech, and Vajrasattva very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and pours into your crown, filling your entire body, except this time forcing up to the top of the body all the negativity of your speech. And it kind of overflows quite forcefully and disappears into space. So just imagine that all the harsh speech and the gossip and the lying and the, careless speech, all of this is completely purified as we recite the mantra. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Tita meboa sutokaya meboa Sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa Sawa siddhi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me Sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan Sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Tita meboa sutokaya meboa Sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawa siddhi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me Sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan Sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Tita meboa sutokaya meboa Sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawa siddhi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me Sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan Sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Tita meboa sutokaya meboa Sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawa siddhi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me Sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan Sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Tita meboa sutokaya meboa Sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawa siddhi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me Sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan Sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Tita meboa sutokaya meboa Sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawa siddhi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me Sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan Sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Tita meboa sutokaya meboa Sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawa siddhi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me Sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan Sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe. So now feel so happy that your speech is completely purified, and think there's no way you could do anything but be of benefit to others with your speech, and that includes the things you write. And the ability to know when it's best to stay silent or whether you should speak up. And the words that come out of your mouth are now beneficial to others, helpful. So that would be so amazing if your speech was that refined. So next is a purification of the mind, and Vajrasattva now very compassionately sends powerful beams of light from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. So it's just the same as when you walk into a pitch black room and you switch on a light. That light instantly dispels the darkness in the room. So it's the same here. Just the very instant the light from Vajrasattva's heart touches your heart, all the darkness of the negativity of the mind, so all your attachment and grasping and neediness and depression, anxiety and grudges and jealousy, all of this is instantly dispelled by this light in this mantra as we recite. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita Dida miboa Sutokaya miboa Sipokaya miboa Anarakta miboa Sawasiti mipiyata sawa kamasita me Sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan Sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita Dida miboa Sutokaya miboa Sipokaya miboa Anarakta miboa Sawasiti mipiyata sawa kamasita me Sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan Sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita Dida miboa Sutokaya miboa Sipokaya miboa Anarakta miboa Sawasiti mipiyata sawa kamasita me Sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan Sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita Dida miboa Sutokaya miboa Sipokaya miboa Anarakta miboa Sawasiti mipiyata sawa kamasita me Sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan Sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita Dida miboa Sutokaya miboa Sipokaya miboa Anarakta miboa Sawasiti mipiyata sawa kamasita me Sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan Sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita Dida miboa Sutokaya miboa Sipokaya miboa Anarakta miboa Sawasiti mipiyata sawa kamasita me Sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan Sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita Dida miboa Sutokaya miboa Sipokaya miboa Anarakta miboa Sawasiti mipiyata sawa kamasita me Sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan Sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe. So again, be delighted that all your delusions, which are the source of all of your suffering and the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech, are completely purified. They're gone. And now think there's no space in your heart for anything other than love and kindness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. So next is the purification of the imprints of negativity of the body, speech and mind. So if you wish, you can recite a couple of mantras while you visualize each of the body, speech and mind visualization we've just done. Or you can imagine light and nectar just pouring into you, filling you completely and eradicating even the subtlest imprints of negative energy from your mind as you recite the mantra. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita Dida miboa Sutokaya miboa Sipokaya miboa Anarakta miboa Sawasiti mipiyata sawa kamasita me Sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan Sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita Dida miboa Sutokaya miboa Sipokaya miboa Anarakta miboa Sawasiti mipiyata sawa kamasita me Sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan Sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita Dida miboa Sutokaya miboa Sipokaya miboa Anarakta miboa Sawasiti mipiyata sawa kamasita me Sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan Sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita Dida miboa Sutokaya miboa Sipokaya miboa Anarakta meboa sawa siddhi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sutam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutsa vajrabhava mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Dudu meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawa siddhi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sutam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutsa vajrabhava mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Dudu meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawa siddhi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sutam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutsa vajrabhava mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Dudu meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawa siddhi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sutam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutsa vajrabhava mahasamaya sattva aham pe. So now feel you're completely purified, not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream, even the subtlest obscurations to omniscience, to your enlightenment, have been removed. So really try and feel that that's what's happened. So next is the power of resolve, and this is the fourth and final step in the purification process, and a really important one. Is, in the beginning we regretted, and now we're just going to make a resolution that we're going to try and refrain from harming others and ourselves with our body, our speech, and our mind. And so without this determination, we're just going to keep falling into the same old habitual patterns over and over again. So somehow we need to sort of stop those neural pathways. We need to sort of cut the habit. But, depending on how many lifetimes we've had this habit, it can take a little bit of effort, it can take a bit of time. So first of all, rejoice in the progress that you have made. That's a really important thing to remember to do, is to rejoice in your efforts and rejoice in your progress, and to recognize it. I mean, even if it comes to writing down a journal, to recognize all the things that you're doing that are helpful to yourself, and rejoice in that. And then think of something to work on between now and tomorrow for 4 seconds, 5 seconds overnight while you're sleeping. And this determination to not do again, to refrain, gives us strength to change. So Vajrasattva is delighted with us and wanting to merge with our mind, melts into white light and absorbs into you through your crown, and think, my Guru's body, speech and mind, and Vajrasattva's body, speech and mind, my own body, speech and mind are the same thing. And LAMA YESHE used to call that union oneness. So next Rinpoche recommends to meditate on the emptiness of the 3 circles. In emptiness there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma, and there is no negative karma created. So at whatever level you understand emptiness, place your mind there for a little while. So in this way we think of all phenomena as being empty. They do not exist from their own side. And you can also think that perhaps the way things are appearing to me, maybe the way I interpret things, may not necessarily be the way they're actually existing. Maybe the way I hear something or read an email is not necessarily the way it was intended. So next, dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy you've created doing this purification to all living beings, and think, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. And for His Holiness the Dalai Lama, the wish-granting, wish-fulfilling jewel, source of every single benefit and happiness in this world, to the incomparably kind Tenzin Gyatso Beseech, may all your holy wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. And for Lama Zopa Rinpoche, Ho tup shul chang jin jam gon Galloway. Tenzing kyong pel away kunzo dog porze. Chog sum kur away leg mon to a drub. Pa dog sog dulje kondu jab ten shog. For Lama Ursel, Venerable One, to you whose kindness exceeds out of all the conquerors, for those wanderers in far off places, especially the West, mindful of your loving concern for us and intentionally descending again into a family of a far distant land, we make this request. O Lama, please, please live long. And for Geshe Cherub, beloved teacher, leading your students toward wisdom and compassion, explaining through exacting discernment the steps of the graduated path, you are the unequal guide. Please live a long and stable life. Okay, everybody. I feel like my life is disappearing week by week. Okay, lots of love. It is so lovely to see you all again, and so nice to see you again, Mark. And please do take care. And Lorraine, I'm very glad they recovered their mistake, or somebody else discovered that mistake, and that you're not going to have an unnecessary operation. I think that's wonderful. So I'm rejoicing for you there. And Lou, thanks for hosting. Lots of love, everybody. Good night and sweet dreams. Okay, good night.